Once upon a time, in a small coastal town, a young man named Mark was always looking for buried treasures with his old metal detector. Although he really found anything valuable, he enjoyed the process and he stories he imagined about the objects he entered. One summer afternoon, as the sun was setting and the beach was almost empty, Marcus was walking for slow with his metal detector when he heard a loud and constant beep. Excited, he began to dig with his hand in the mid sand. He was digging quickly and soon found a small wooden box, very old and covered with algae and snails. As he tried to open the box with a stone, he noticed an older man watching him from a distance. The man was dressed in all work clothing, and his eyes seemed full to sadness. Mark, without paying much attention, finally managed to open the box and found inside a gold pendant with a strange inscription. Suddenly, the older man ran over and begged Mark to return the pendant. He explained that it belonged to his wife, who has died in a shipwreck many years later. Mark, moved by the story, decided to return the pendant. The man took it with tears in his eyes and grateful began to tell Mark more about his life and the tragedy of the shipwreck. As he listened, Marcus noticed that the tide was rising rapidly. The other man also noticed it and told Mark that they had to leave before the sea caught them, but began walking back to the village. But the tide was rising faster than expected. Just as the water was beginning to surround them, the older man asked Mark to run and save himself. Mark ran as fast as he could, and when he finally reached the mainland and looked back, he saw no older man anywhere. He returned to the place where he had left him, but found no trace of him. Confused and worried, he decided to go to the nearest house to ask for help. When he arrived, he knocked on the door and was greeted by an old woman who, hearing his story, began to cry and her expression changed. He told him that the older man was his neighborhood and best friend, who had died in the same shipwreck, along with his wife more than 5 years ago. She had never found the pendant and had always thought it was lost forever. Mark, with his heart beating fast, returned to the beach the next day. There he found he wanted box again, but this time it was empty. He never saw the older man again, but he knew that he had someone helped bring peace to a lost soul.